Hello, good evening. Hi, Ria.
Hi everyone. Am I clearly audible to you?
Yeah, yes, you are.
Okay.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I am Dia, and I welcome you all to the eighth episode of Talk Without Constraints, a series wherein the guest speaker will be sharing their first period experience and will also engage in a conversation around menstruation. So let's begin by outlining our organization. Sarkari School is an initiative by We Citizens Foundation that promotes high standards of education for students attending public schools. We, as a group, strive to raise awareness of Indian government schools and to promote a positive narrative around them. Many of our significant projects really assist and support students from underprivileged backgrounds. One of our projects is Project Vedana, which aims towards creating awareness campaigns to reduce school absenteeism, dropouts in girls during their menstrual cycle in rural areas through active involvement of youth and creating conversation around normalizing the taboos and stereotypes around periods. So far, Project Vedna has led a large scale initiative on reducing the absenteeism of girl children due to menstruation by conducting workshops in government schools and engaging with young and driven people across different states. Now, I would like to introduce our guest speaker for today's episode. For today's session, we have Riya Sharma, a young campaigner and social taboo activist pursuing political science honors from Gargi College, University of Delhi. She is currently working with girlupfizza Women's Development Center, and she's also an NGO coordinator in Gargi College. She likes to influence people to break the glass ceilings around them and come out to campaign against issues related to inequality. Now I would like Divya to take over.
Thank you, Dia. So, beginning with our questions. Hello, Ria. My first question is: were you aware of periods before you had them the first time? If yes, then who taught you about it?
So if I talk about my first experience, I got my period so late in 11th standard when I'm just, going for 12th class. It was like that. So priorly in 6th class, that session happened where NGO was there who taught us about this thing, but only call girls in the auditorium, not the boys. So it was like when we all get educated, like they asked some questions with the girls. It was like first time with me such education I was getting, and it was really going above from my head, and I didn't get everything very much clearly. So when I got that packages in which pad has been there, a face wash. So what teachers are saying to boys that these are some sandwiches given to girls, not it's not for boys. So it was in sixth class. But later on, when I in tenth, so my mother taught and my grandmother taught me about this thing. And when I got so my first experience was very painful. It's like very brutal. Somebody is hitting me and beating me on my stomach. I got a lot of cramps. So the first experience was very painful, and I still think why I'm getting these things now. Like sometimes I think when I got these things and facing painful things, and even people live surrounds to me says it's just period. It's not just period. If you will get, especially the like men, and it's like very surprising thing when our mothers are our home females like who has been living with us says that it's just periods, nothing more than that. So they, even if they are getting that, they aren't understanding, they are just procrastinating their pain and do not want to take in front of others. So this is what I get after having my first period. And I see this distinction ki, yeah, in rural areas we can see a lot of patriarchy, which led to such things of shaming and all. But the urban women who go for jobs and teaching jobs and other jobs, they are very conscious about their spot at the back. So that I seeing as a thing ki we should not conscious, we if we are getting such spots, we should try to normalize that, because it is a problem which everyone should know. And as in whole as in globe, if we see like whole world, like half of the population get these things, and everybody should know about this thing. So that was my input initially, because it's like I hope it I think it's with everyone, the first time they face such things, get this first period, so they will surround with a lot of taboos. It was same with me as well.
Thank you, Ria. Oh, so my next question is, what do you think about tax applications on sanitary pads?
Okay, so if I talk about tax application, so it's like even if we have such availability of pads, availability of awareness among women, we use it. But if we talk about the rural women's, basically problem comes when they aren't telling the person who is going outside to buy the things, and the person can buy for her as well. So the problem comes here. I don't think there any problem with the taxes, because it's a goods which there for all people, and if taxes are there over other things, so it include to some extent. But yeah, people faces the first problem over here when they feel shame to even asking from the other person, because mainly women work at home, and they oftenly go out to go buy these things. And even in some places I personally experience, every financial thing would be under the men's hand, and then she has to ask for money, then he will ask how much you will want, and at what like on what goods you will spend it. So problem comes here, it's not with the taxes. I think it's my own personal input. Yeah.
It was nice knowing your views about it because many people come up with different views. So I just came to know a totally different view because people don't support all these things. So yeah, coming.
It should be supported. The thing is like I want to like just it comes in my mind, keep the things which are related to women's vagina, either it's rape, either it's period, these all things are full of shame and stigma. Recent Aftab case, like everybody is full of that angerness against that boy. But on the other hand, people are blaming that girl as well. Okay, she committed a mistake. She, didn't respond to his often things. He beat her and all things. But people are, saying that girl should be, girl should be think about the shame. Secondly, the honor of their parents. So if she didn't commit this marriage with that person, so maybe this thing will not happen. Again, this whole circle will blame the girl only. So the things which are related to women vagina, people are very uncomfortable with those things, and even don't talk about it. On other side, if we say things like private things, we should talk about it. Like recent film on Janhit Mein Jari, talk about how condoms are important. The media depict them like very sexist. My God, those were like it's were like we can't even see those ads. So we should depict in a awareful manner so that people can take it in a positive way. When it was my first experience of condom ad on TV with my parents were sitting. So so my later on, my nani taught me, Ria, whenever such ad comes, na, you should behave like you are not seeing those ads. So then I think कि इस तरीके से डिपिक्ट होगा, so everyone will behaves like this. तो थोड़ा awareness में होना चाहिए ये सब चीजें, like of sanitary napkins we see, like now red liquid is started. Before
Yeah,
that blue liquid से show होता था सब. Yeah, so all these things are,
I totally
yeah.
support your views. So, my next question is, are you comfortable discussing menstruation with your family members? Like, how sensitive or insensitive are the male members of your family when it comes to talking about periods?
So I talk about my family. I am very much comfortable in talking about each and everything, and always very enthusiastic to aware other, influence other in such things that they should know it. But my family members are not comfortable in listening these things. So whenever I even try to do these things, so what later if I you know that in a flow, if I even dare to speak such things, so later on I get a lecture with my nanny. 2 hours lecture it was. I still remember that. Ria, it's not something you should talk about in front of men. But I get very offended with those comments. I I always say, yeah, yeah, Nani, I'll do this, but I'll never stop speaking in front of the people. I'll do speak later on repercussions everybody will face. But to aware others to show that yes, we have some problems which should be addressed. So I'll speak and definitely, and no one can stop me by doing this thing. Yeah.
It's a very
Some
nice
sort
Yeah.
of satisfaction, some sort of satisfaction, grandparents required. So that I give, but on the other hand, I talk about it. So yeah.
Yeah, similar thing happened with me too. Like I was in sixth standard, and again the workshop happened like about periods. So what happened? I was so excited because it was something new for me. कि पहली बार किसी ने periods के बारे में बताया है. And I came back home and I was so excited. I told my mom about it, and I was like, "Mama, अब मैं जाके पापा को बता रही हूँ about it." So my mom was like, "नहीं नहीं नहीं ये चीज़ है नहीं बताना पापा को. It's something which should be between you and me." So yeah, हमेशा आई थिंक मॉम्स को एंड ग्रैंड मॉम्स को हमेशा रहता है कि do not discuss these things with your male members of the family.
But
But for
still,
to
male
educate
members,
our coming generation, what Divya?
I am asking how the male members of your family react when you talk about it.
So they are reacting that they never know such things. What I'm speaking is totally a utopian idea. Like it can't exist in world and will never exist. But to have this thing normalized, हमें generation by generation चीजें लानी होंगी in center. So the way we teach our girl child, we should born the same way our boy child as well. I don't think so. Any feminine quality or masculine quality is being there by a birth of a child. These qualities are given by society to us because when I was in sixth standard, okay, I didn't know about periods. Still, yet with a lot of things, I'm very much normalized. But whenever I try to have these things, like second time when I got my periods, I was in my mama house. My aunt directly give this trigger warning to me, Ria, this thing should not it to be there between me and you and would not to be go to your brother and your uncle. Okay, it was like that. So शुरू से people giving us the consciousness, girls को वो consciousness देते हैं, you are a girl so you have to just shut on these things, you have to be shameful while talking about these things, you have to behave like this, so that everybody will give you that tag, you are a good daughter, you are a good sister, you are a good mother, you are a good daughter, ये सब. So ये गुड का चक्कर, I'm very often this thing. What I feel is that the women who creates history will never behave in a manner what society sets for her. So we should always cross those limits. Yeah.
True. So true. So moving towards our next question. So, have you ever missed school due to periods? If yes, then what's the particular discomfort or fear or reason that made you do that?
Uh, Frankly speaking, so I never missed my school due to this. Yeah, initially when I was not that much enlightened about the freedom a woman should have, so I do have such stigma with me. Sorry for that noise. So what is initially when I was not that much enlightened with the thing, yeah, a woman should have that freedom. So what I think is कि I was conscious initially कि yes, the sports, this thing, the pad should be like in a private sphere, should not be in public. So it was like that, but I never missed my school due to this thing. Yeah.
Okay. So, nextly, according to you, what can be the possible reason for absenteeism and dropouts during menstruation, and how can we as individuals work on this issue?
Uh, you say about dropout and previously what you addressed?
Absenteeism.
Yeah. So these are basically, if we say some girls have medical problem and those are get while they were not hygienic those times, so they get some vaginal disorders and all. So PCOV and all. So this absentee and dropouts are something which first a uh, the culture, the ritual we are traditionally following according to that in some country, in some states of India, we can see that once girls get these periods, hit the puberty age, they celebrate this at some culture, and then ask her to marry to the another person because she no more can stay with her father home. So that was the a reason what I think, because I see this thing in Rajasthan very much prevalent. Secondly, dropouts are there because girls feel very unconscious when they are getting. They absent basically like for the sport thing. Secondly, the unavailability of resources like pads and all. Even though we are studying in Delhi University colleges, as a girl, we face a lot of problems. If I talk about my college, so yeah, it's have vending machines, but later on they installed pads into it. When we protested, write an application, signed it. You can see I'm in Gargi College, women college, but yeah, as in a privileged person, I'm that much privileged what a woman isn't in a rural area. So unavailability is there with me as well. So how can I even think of that rural women and the girl who is going to school can have these things? Because basically the one who drop out and absent are from like very poor family and studying in government colleges. It's chances and privileged women as well when they are very conscious about the spot they are getting at their back. So yeah, that's my inputs on this.
So, Ria, we live in a country with different religions, and there are a lot of myths that go around. So, are there any myths or stereotypes associated with periods followed at your home?
सबसे पहला myth what I want to address and want to vanish from this whole world and this country is that of uh, restricting women to enter into a temple and to any god house. Why it is so? I don't think there is a contradiction in this Kamakya Mata temple. I think you guys are know about it. So there, people. irrespective of their gender, they are worshipping the vagina of the goddess Sati. And on the other hand, we aren't allowed to go with the periods and can enter into temple. Yeah, the blood we are getting off from our body, that isn't that is impure, not good for the like health. But it's not mean that we are being restricting to worship the god to enter into the temple. The same, and you can see in Sabrimala case, where in Karnataka, I guess, or Kerala. So, High Court passed this judgment to allow women to enter into the temple. So every social problem around women are like very baseless and illogical. So Mitski, if I talk about, there there are many, but the mainly what I think is of temple. We can enter, and I do worship, and I go temple, and I didn't see any change in my body or anything, something got wrong with me when I'm coming to home and like that. uh, Another thing, what, am I audible, right? So
Yeah.
another thing what I see is uh, myth, if I talk about. So I saw a documentary, Blood on My Hands, as a member of Women Development Center. I showed that documentary to all college students. So what the documentary was like, you should uh, put inside, like, drink the cow's toilet, as it will pure you. If you are, after getting your periods, and those 3 days, after those 3 days, you have to drink this compulsory, this toilet you have to drink. Another, I think, people are surrounded with the myths, like, if a man uh, like breathe in, अगर कोई man सांस लेगा और वो सांस छोड़ेगा तो periods के वक्त you will got pregnant. It was also that. It was like as horrific you can think. इससे ज्यादा और क्या myth वो लड़की झेल सकती है जहाँ पे ऐसा कुछ सिखाया गया। तो ये सब चीजें थी। 3 days के लिए women are outside. The Padman movie. I really liked that movie, and Akshay Kumar did a really very good role. The same with that toiletic Prem Katha movie. Though it's a really good step she took, right? She, get off from the in-laws' house and come into his own house because of not having proper toilet facility, and it's good, which led to a construction of a toilet in her village, so that every woman will not be conscious. ऐसी भी चीजें भाई, it's my mother's experience that when she got married, so she has to had to live in village with my grandmother, so she had to go at 4 a.m. to fresh herself. If we are not getting excretion at 4 a.m. and getting it 5 p.m., then how can we go? Like, we can't stop this thing. So it's like related to shame as well. It's same with periods also. So these were myths I see in the documentary, and the famously is of we can't worship the god. This was the myth, and even I see the packet of cigarettes, tobacco, and all are openly people are selling, even though a warning is being written on the packets. But if it is of a stay free pad packet, people will wrap it in brown paper, then in black polythene, then give it to you, like they are not seeing anything and just giving some drugs to you. If anybody caught them, so they will go into the jail. It's like that. So we should not surround with such myths. Myths is nothing, these are useless if they are related to the culture and religion, because these are being made against the women's only. It's like that. Yeah.
Thanks, Shriya. You just gave us a reality check, which I
Yeah,
really
and I would love to watch that documentary. I mean,
yeah. So, moving towards the next question, is your school infrastructure or college infrastructure menstrual friendly?
Yes. So recently, you both are from Delhi University colleges.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So recent NAC visit take a really good infrastructural change in our colleges. So that change made a lot of changes in colleges, led to establishment of vending and disposal machines and all things, and proper hand sanitization facilities, and uh, like proper water facilities, clean washrooms were there once they get to know that NAC will be come and visit us and all. So yeah, from there consciousness started. In school, mainly hardly any school should have have I seen have infrastructures like already rendered machines, because girls in schools ask women to women only ki you have pads, and teachers only, they not have any proper machines ki they can put a coin and can get a pad. So colleges are lacking a lot, even though we are studying in private colleges. And colleges, if talk about sorry schools, sorry, if I talk about colleges, so colleges have, because student studying in colleges have that consciousness, now it's time to get our rights, so we should have such machines. And that's why the infrastructure difference is so vast between colleges and schools. Schools yet on the stage to get these things, I think. And the school I was, it didn't have anything like that, so I'll always be pre-prepared. Not I, my mother very conscious about this. So she always makes me pre-prepared about these things with the facts, basically. Yeah.
So, moving towards the next question. You must have heard of menstrual leave policy, right? So, menstrual leave is a specific form of time offered those who experience period pains. In a country like India, where menstruation is still taboo and people are not very comfortable talking about it, and there are a lot of arguments that go around, like, for example, women have been in workforce for decades and they have been managing well. Why do we all suddenly need to provide them with menstrual leaves? So, what are you taking on that? More policies like this should be introduced.
Okay. So I have here two like points. First is that periods are something. Whenever I had a conversation with once I had a conversation with my uncle, so he says that women have this period problem, and if in a month she'll take 3 days, and in a year, like approx 2 months की छुट्टी वो ले लेगी in 3 days की leaves में, if women की leave start हुई periods की. So on one side I think that periods leave should be there, basically for the women who are facing some disorders. So they have some painful, those 3 days were very painful for those women who facing some disorders related to periods. But every women body function differently. So policy of periods leave, it's recently passed in France. Women do have a 3 day periods leave. So first, I think that these leaves should be there, because my reason behind this is that due to some disorders women faces, the pain women faces. But on other side, these 3 days leaves, if they would started, so yeah, it would be very favorable for all women. But if they start, if we do not have any such type of periods leave, so uh, ex- pain is there, and every women body work accordingly to their uh, hormones and all. But women's like, when it comes to give leave in army, when it comes to give leave, when it comes to having jobs like which are very much related to strength, power, muscles, fightings. So the argument we gain is that if women will give 3 days leave and war will be there, so how they will do that? इसलिए ये illogical, baseless arguments given by army for not providing women as in combat role. Because on other side there is a huge debate, periods leave should be there for women. So what I think, like boxers like Mary Com, the people who do wrestlings, especially women's. So they are in an environment where they are get used to this thing that even in periods they have to work. It's like something. Uh, Let me make clear my point more clearly. So whenever a woman is having some periods, those 3 days leave she take, it's okay according to her body. But if we used to such things कि हम उन 3 days में भी कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, even though running, jogging and all, तो it's according to be the women's priority, according to her disorder she have, it should be according to the strength she have, because muscular power is not equal to all human beings. Everybody's body and body structure is different. Some are very fatty and all, some are very slim. So according to body structure, it's like that. So periods leave ka jab aata hai, so I am on both points, because if somebody get used to with this thing, so there will be no need of leave. But if someone not and facing some disorder, so it should be there for her. So it's like that. Initially initially in army, women got retired once they got pregnant. So basically the highest and highest post women can go is of captain only after lieutenant. But initially, recently army come up with ki if a woman got pregnant, so she will get leave of like months, then she can continue her job. So it's also a really good step if government took it such like that. But these things are something which are ह्यूमन राइट्स, वुमेन्स का राइट इसलिए हम अलग से एड्रेस करते हैं बिकॉज वी आर द सब्जेक्टेड सेक्शन ऑफ सोसाइटी. बट इफ वी सी एज एन ह्यूमन बीइंग वी ऑल आर ह्यूमन राइट्स की अगर हम बात करें, so it's come under that, and I don't think so it should be decided by others. It should be decided by our own priority, our own choices, our own bodily autonomy only. Because again अगर हम leave वुमेन्स की डिसऑर्डर्स और लाइक चेंजेस जो वुमेन्स की बॉडी में होते हैं इन रिस्पेक्ट टू पीरियड्स, उसकी बात करें तो देन बॉडी पॉलिटिक्स की डिबेट भी आती है. So I don't think so it is something decided by another person who is higher, but it's something which should be there as a human being. So yeah.
Yeah, I would like to add a point. So I was going through article recently, and उसमें UK की company के बारे में they were discussing. So like that company does not provide any period leaves, but they have a system कि उनके washrooms में या एक ऐसी जगह lounge kind of बना रखा है especially for women who are going through periods कि वहाँ पे सारा like they provide with the facilities, tampons, pads, chocolates, and कि वो लाइक ड्यूरिंग लाइक काम करते वक्त इफ दे फील कि हाँ क्रैम्प्स हो रहे हैं, नहीं मूड कर रहा, दे कैन गो देयर, चिल आउट, कम बैक. सो या अगर लाइक पीरियड लीव्स नहीं देना, सो आई थिंक दिस इज द बेस्ट ऑल्टरनेटिव दे कैन प्रोवाइड विद. आई रियली लाइक दैट आइडिया.
So, Ria, do you think there's a need to normalize a conversation around menstruation? Could you please give reason for the same?
So the answer for this would be there is always be a normalizing thing. We are getting consciousness to have this conversation on like live sessions with other people, students who are having an initiative like this. Normalizing is something which can't achievable if a particular organization, NGO, activist work. It would be normalized if we work on an individual level. If today I am having some initiative in respect to menstrual and I am reaching to many women's in my locality, out of my station, city, I'll be normalizing those things over there. But as I speak about a lot of things today in this session, so maybe you both are following something which is patriarchal, but you should do it in another way to start this thing from an individual level. Then we can achieve this normalization. Now, if I talk about it as example, if my nanny taught my mother something related to menstrual is shame, she grabs it, and now teaching to me. but I'm not learning that because I don't want to give such education and don't want to take such education, which you know, close the options for a woman. So I'm changing. So from my level, it will change. So my coming generation would properly normalize. They don't even think before speaking and uttering this word periods. I have it today. So from here we can change. Yeah.
Okay. So, next question is, a senior female official in Bihar recently rebuked and made fun of a girl student who asked why the government couldn't provide sanitary napkins. What is your opinion about that? If you had been there, what thoughts would you have experienced? And do you believe the government ought to start paying more attention to period poverty?
So it was like that comment only ki on next day if you will say this, तो government ये भी करके देगी क्या? It was like that some conversation with that girl, I think. Yeah. Huh. So uh, you know, when it comes to people like these, so these are not someone we should uh, you know, idolize, because these people are the one. As in political science student, I analyze this thing. Political parties, yeah, it's thing of saying or papering work. Yes, the government will should work according to the interest of people, provide them facilities, but government will never run like that, and it's not running and will never in future. They will work as in according to their party interest. That's why I'm very much, you know, have this problem with the reservation. Economically weaker section reservation should be there, which include all religion and caste. But this religion system and caste system, reservation system, take a lot of distinction between the caste people of different caste, and this led to like riots, छोटे मोटे riots like this. So every political party according to what their interest. So what that person interest was not to doing those things, because she was from Bihar, or so Bihar. So in the country, in that state, with that small place, with the huge crowd of these people she was sitting, I don't think so she will counter the interest of the people over there, because mostly men were there. The one, because she knows men are someone who dominate the women's. Bihar में ये है, poorest state of our country. That's why she gives such remarks. So उसकी interest था. But if I would be there, then more or less mic would be get off from my hand, because the things I will gonna say, she can't even listen. And when we say in public sphere, so it even people get offended. But if I would be there, yes. So my remarks would be very in contrast to that person. So I would go for things like, as in uh, go for things like, as in a very the party political party who is speaking about development, the way this that party will take this development, like women's are very subjective section of the Bihar. If I talk about mainly of that state, so the way they are talking about development, it can't be achievable without equality. And some says equality is a utopian idea, but we can achieve it if we work as an individual level. Yeah.
And like Bihar is the only state in India that have policy, menstrual leave policy.
And they are offering such comments publicly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the very
The
controversial.
way she responded, that was very offended comment. Increase the sexism between the peoples. That was very offended comment.
Yeah.
So, coming towards the last question of our session, how do you think young teens should take care of their hygiene and diet while menstruating?
So Uh, so I have not that much hygienic things, but yeah, we should be very much clean among our surroundings. Very cleanliness should be there, proper changing of there, because even women who are lacking like financially, they think that they can use that particular pad they put on in the morning till the evening, so that would leads to some disorders to in a way to in way to uh, restore pads ki bachi rahe, because 3 days would be there, so it's like that. So proper health hygienic session hone chahiye among rural. And I think that the women who write books, write articles over newspaper, they are just educating the educated people. But to educate the uneducated people, we should go offline visits to the women, and not to the women, just to the whole village. Even if men are there, they should tell about these hygienic things. तो एजुकेटेड को एजुकेटेड करने से we'll not get anything, but uneducated को educate करने से we'll get many things.
So true. So here
So,
comes the end of our episode. It was a great experience. Last but not the least, what message would you like to give to young menstruators and the youth?
So the message which I really very much influence was of two messages basically. One is of Kamla Bhasin also. I'm really very inspired with that woman. She just tries to say that who asks you people to put the honor of your religion, your culture in my vagina? No one. So why should I shame for this thing? Another message I would like to give ki we can't be a superhero if we go for cigarettes and thing, but we can be a superhero if we talk openly about periods. तो it's a basic dialogue of अक्षय कुमार, हीरोगिरी फूफू करने में नहीं है, but periods के बारे में openly talks करने में है, or what we are doing. Yeah. So these are my messages.
Thank you, Ria.
thank you.
So, over to you, Dia.
Thank, thank you so much.
It was a great experience, Ria, talking to you, and I hope you enjoy the session as well. So, thank
Yeah,
you all, and I'm privileged to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable event. First and foremost, I thank our guest Ria for taking the time to grace this event despite her busy schedule. I thank all the distinguished invitees present here for accepting our invitation. Last but not the least, I thank my co-host Divya for her cooperation in making this event a responding success. Once again, I thank you all for your attention and wish you all a great day ahead. Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.